I want to make sure, did you check? I'm asking you that because I want to make sure that if you haven't checked, you should check. Anytime we go on a trip, we as seniors, actually, I think everybody goes through this. We we forget things. There's always something that we forget. So this video is going to be on just the question, if you checked. And I want to make sure that you take everything that you need on this upcoming trip because, hey, my last trip, I didn't forget anything, but I wish I had brought a couple of things. I didn't forget them, though. So anyway, anytime we go on a trip, regardless of where it is, there's a checklist that we as seniors or anyone as far as that's concerned, traveling should check before you walk away from your home. I've seen many commercials where a person has a leak, and it's like, okay, they call their neighbor and, that's, about security, letting people in the door. But what I say to you is that you should check all of your underneath your sinks before you leave on any trip. Now, I make it a point anytime I leave town to check my home. And what I mean by that, I walk around the home. I look at my home. I just look at the home, I look under the sinks, make sure I don't have any sneaking up leaks that are, about to happen. I make sure that all my locks have batteries on them. I always let my neighbors know that I'm going to be out of town so that they'll know that I'm out of town. I let my children know so that they know that, it's not a matter of someone calling them and saying, hey, we have your mother or anything like that, because that won't work. They'll have all the pertinent numbers so that they can contact me at all times. So that's one thing. Well, that's several different things, actually. But, you get pretty excited when you're about to travel. And I know I do. I really do. But in any event, I always check various things. I check and make sure that all my bills have been paid. Because I noticed that a lot of people, they have a tendency to go on vacation and then they come home to a bunch of bills. Have you ever done that? You come home and then you come home to bills. It's like, no, pay your bills before you go on your vacation. So then that way, when you come back from your vacation, you don't have that on your mind. You gone and had a wonderful time. You come back and you can rest real nice. You know what I'm saying? But pay your bills before you leave, if you can. Because if you can't pay your bills before you go on vacation, guess what? You might not need to be going on vacation because you can't pay your bills. See? So don't go on vacation if you got a bunch of bills. That'll never do. You get yourself further and further in debt, and that we don't want to do. So that's one thing. Now, that's something else you need to check before you go on a vacation. At least I check. I check my health. I make sure I go to my doctor, make sure everything is okay. I don't want to get sick while I'm out of town. No, you don't. Although I have insurance, just in case I do, so that they can fly me out of there, wherever I am. But I go to the doctor, have myself checked out. I do that. Yes, I do. So that's another thing. It's not only important to be in good health when you're going on a vacation, but it's a good idea that, you check in with your doctor. Now, also, while we're talking about medical, when you're walking out, when you're packing your stuff, because we haven't even talked about packing. People forget things all the time. They don't, when they're packing. But next week, I'll probably put out a little something about how I pack when I go, because each trip I go on, I pack different, because it's different seasons, it's different places, of course. And, it's going to change from trip to trip. That's just like this one when we go to Chicago. So in any event, I just want to make sure that you check. Make a list for yourself. Once you make a decision that you're going to take a vacation, make a list. Sit down and quiet yourself and make a list of things that you should take care of. First, your house. Make sure your house is nice and stable, secure. Second, make sure that your kids know. If you have any children, let them know where you're going and the proper numbers and all that good stuff. Make sure that's taken care of. Third, make sure that you make sure that you go and see your doctor. You have your medication and your doctor's clearance so that you don't get sick while you're gone. And fourth, make sure that you're not in debt. You don't want to come home to debt. Make sure your bills are paid for before you leave. So, but in any event, this is going to be a short video, but we could talk more. We'll talk more. I'm still trying to learn things. If I could just learn a couple of more things, well, I'm going to be learning a whole lot more things now that I'm on this YouTube. I really like YouTube. I have to say I do like it. It's fun. Yeah, I do like it. So I'll talk to you later. In my last video, I forgot to say who I was. I totally forgot to tell you who I was. This is amazing. I started read it off at the mouth with you and totally forgot to say who I was. Okay, this is Miss D. And wow, I just totally forgot to tell you that. I hope that you subscribe and share my videos. And again, it is a pleasure being with you. Thank you for watching.